Promises takes the participants into the context of the United League of Nations, whereas the newly elected politicians of their respective countries, they have all made promises. Some of them have made incredibly outrageous promises to get elected, and some of them have made virtually no promises at all. But they must all fulfill three mandates. The first one is that they must meet the needs of their citizens. The second one is that they must fulfill their campaign promises. And the third one is that they must operate as a truly united League of Nations. Each country has a passport, and within their passport, it outlines the promises that they have made and the deadlines within which they have made those promises. And they have all made promises in the areas of food, in the areas of wealth, and in the areas of environmental issues. And as the process begins to take shape, the activity draws out that tension of how do we move from having a me focus, which is focused on meeting my needs and fulfilling my promises, to make that transition into operating as a truly united League of Nations. So this activity is based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And what that means is there's three distinct phases within the activity. Maslow's hierarchy of needs basically states that until our core needs are met, we don't really care about the needs of other people. And that plays itself out consistently within this activity. Until I have met my needs and fulfilled my campaign promises, I don't really care about being a united League of Nations. And it's fascinating as we watch that play itself out. So the first phase is what I would call a very fragmented phase. Very me-focused, very focused on working out our relationships and trying to understand how I can get my needs met within my deadlines. The second phase is an organized phase. They begin to see how they fit together, and they begin to discover that there's a bit of a continuum between the have-nots and the haves, and they're get organized, but they find that by the end of year 2, the deadlines are so great that they find themselves actually involved in a scandal campaign or a war in which the resources begin to shift hands. And folks kind of feel that this really shouldn't be happening during a team building activity, which then is a catalyst for the third phase, which is the phase of unity. And this is where the team begins to make different choices and says, you know what, we need to choose to rally around a common goal. We need to choose to share resources. We need to choose to build trust, and we need to choose to communicate more effectively. And as they begin to do this, they actually experience the team or the group becoming a united League of Nations, and it's a really wonderful experience. So the debrief takes us, first of all, into the exploration of what were the challenges that we felt in becoming or working through the process of becoming a united League of Nations. And the participants will often reflect that those challenges are the same ones that they experience in the real world. And then that allows us to explore what each team's situation was in the first year or two, and see how their situation created the feelings that drove them to the actions that actually experienced the fragmented me-focused environment, and then what actually changed to get them to begin to operate within a United League of Nations manner. And the participants find this a very powerful process because they are actually unaware of the way their situation, the situation that the activity sets them up for, causes them to feel and act at the very beginning of the activity. But they are very clear on the conscious choice that they had to make a transition and choose to be a United League of Nations within some point within the activity. So lots of different application here. Clearly we can make an application to a new team coming together. We've used this in situations where we've had joint venture groups, 2 different organizations working on a similar project. We've used this for a merger situation where we had either an acquisition or a merger, and the new leaders or the new employees of a new organization having to rally around a common goal. We've also used this where there's a team that's kind of fragmented, And they had to use this as a catalyst to say, all right, we have to choose to be a United League of Nations and begin to work together. So again, similar with all of our programs, we can customize this in the area of look and feel. We can customize this in the area of messaging. And the most common customization comes in exploring the question, what does unity mean for this particular group? And depending on their level or depending on their size, we're able to then use this as a catalyst for the discussion of either agreeing together or stating what the common goal is for this team, and then exploring how we're actually going to work together over the future to be able to bring this to reality. So excellent activity for common goal, sharing resources, building trust, and working out systems and structures of communication.